everybody. It is Kimberly Eichelle
Check
with
the mic and make
Talented
sure it sound
Television,
right,
and
boys.
I am so excited to have you here today. We are back in full effect. And listen, I know it's been a long time, like Timberland said. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to. But I'm so excited to have you all back. It's been a lot going on, but you know what? Life keeps rolling, you know, like the river. We got to keep rolling. I have a wonderful guest today. But before we go any further, let me say thank you to those of you who have been watching for years now. And thank you to those who are just tuning in for the first time. I am happy to have you here. If you haven't already, please go ahead and press that subscribe button. I need you all to help support this channel as I bring you talented people. Now, today, I'm going to let y'all in on a secret. Lean in a little closer. This guest is my cousin. I never met him face to face. It's my cousin's son. But just like you, I'm going to be seeing him for the first time today. This young man is full of wisdom and knowledge. I've been watching his career and I am so happy to have him on the show today. Up next, Namarea Randolph-Yosea. Let's get into today's show.
This is Warren Campbell, and you're watching Talented Television with Kimberly Eichelle.
Welcome back to Talented Television. Again, I am Kimberly Eichelle, and I am excited to have someone with me today. He's actually a cousin of mine. I know that he is doing big things out of the Houston area right now. Actually, he's traveling all over, but I'm not going to tell you his story. I'm going to let him tell you himself. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Namarea. Hey, cousin.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
It's great. I know we've had this in the works for a while, and glad to finally sit down and talk and get to meet face to face. I know virtually, but still like actually do it. So
Yes.
I'm very glad.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you. Thank you for agreeing to come on. And I want to talk about your history. Now, let me tell y'all, this show is not going to be very long because Namarea is what? Booked. Booked. Okay. So let's talk about what you are booked for. I want to go back. This young man is a classical singer. He sings opera. He actually sings everything, but opera has become his field of choice and his moneymaker. Okay, so let's talk about it a little bit. Now, Marie, when did you know that you loved singing?
Okay, all the way back. I started singing when I was what 4, 5 years old. Just like as a child. We would go to church a lot of times. That's where I would say like I was really exposed to music for the first time. But even outside of church, my family is a very music influenced family. We all love music. We all listen to music all the time. And that's just something that we all bond over. So even my oldest sister, when she would be watching us, my mom would be at work or something like that. We'd have to clean the house. She turned on her music. She got her Mariah Carey, her Avril Lavigne, her all of her stuff, and so really just surrounded by it. And it was just something that I picked up on. It's something that I know that I enjoyed doing. And my mother, I remember very specifically Mariah Carey's "We Belong Together." I
Mm-hmm.
remember that came out. And she was sitting at the computer and she heard me singing along to it. And she told me, she was like, "Come on over here." And she was like, just sing the end. And I like sang the end for her. And she was like, "Oh, like this is for real." And I don't know. I just, my love and appreciation for it just grew from the time that I was in elementary school. I was in choir, always in choir. Couldn't shut me up. Which is hilarious because I was such a shy child, you know. Um, but I think it wasn't until like sixth, yeah, sixth grade. I remember I did Beyonce's listen at a talent show. My aunt has that recording. My aunt Nakia. She needs to go ahead and pull
Wow.
that out somewhere,
Yes.
please, because
Please
I haven't
share
seen
with
it in
us.
years. I know. I'm dying to see how I sound, like how I sounded back then versus how I would sound now. But yeah, I did that, and then from there, it was just like my time, just building up my confidence, building that up, either in church, doing a solo or something like that, versus
Hmm.
in school. You know, just any stage. You know, so really from there into high school, I around like 11th grade, I did a show called Hairspray. And I was actually reluctant to do, I remember, because I was focused on classes. I was like, I need to be, you know, ready,
Hmm.
especially because they're like 11th grade. If you want to go to college, you need to start focusing on your stuff like now. And so I was like, I don't want anything to get in my way, especially because I was like, I do not want to stay. I don't want to stay at home. You know, I don't want to stay
Right.
in my hometown.
Hmm.
But the music director and the director of that were, I mean, she hounded me. She asked me three different times, and she ambushed me outside of my choir class, and she was like, "You have to audition." And so
Wow.
I remember I was like, "Okay, I don't have anything musical theater prepared or whatever." And she was like, "Just come and sing something." And so I remember I came in and I sang India Iris Get It Together. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Wow. I
yeah.
love
That's
it. So you grew up in the Pacific Northwest. And with that being said, I heard some of the eclectic music that you listen to, from Beyonce to Mariah Carey, but also you mentioned Avril Lavigne, who sang Skater Boy and all of these things. And so I know, because I grew up there as well, you know, you listening to Cube 93 or whatever, they're going to play
mhm.
all types, you know, of
Yeah.
music. So with that being said, tell me some of your favorite genres and how you kind of moved over to the classical scene.
Like I said, I grew up listening to either, like on my mom's side, she loves, just as much as she loves gospel music, she also loves hip hop. She loves her 70s, her 80s R&B. So I would say as a child, really on my mom's side, a lot of like Fred Hammond, you know,
Hmm.
had the, yeah, John P. Key and his albums and stuff like that. Tony Braxton, all the R&B people. And then, like I said, my sister, she was like a more that pop contemporary. So we grew up on like,
Hmm.
yeah, like I said, Rihanna, Mariah, Mary, India. But personally, my taste, I love, as I've grown up and like collected all of these little things, I love my gospel. I love my R&B. I love my jazz. You know,
Hmm.
I've really been just taking a lot of influences from artists that are mainly gospel and jazz soul influences.
Okay.
So those are my main people. Really, just if they have a gospel jazz soul influence, so Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans, um, Mariah, a lot of those gospel artists, Yolanda Adams, like just I think I got my love of jazz influence from, I would say, teenage years onward. And then
Okay.
as a teenager, I started listening even more to a lot of gospel and a lot of like jazz artists. So like I discovered Faith Evans, Karen Clark Sheard, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, a lot of Yolanda stuff.
So you're naming a lot of like powerhouses, you know, what we would call a
Yeah,
person who can belt, or, you know, those strong voices. So would you say that your voice kind of is inspired by those artists?
I have an appreciation for how they treat their craft and how they present themselves, because they know the extent of what they can do, whatever they can't do. They just work to perfect that. So I would say they inspire me to at least keep honing my craft and keep going. You're never done learning.
I know we have a few minutes because you're literally not at home. You are on the road. When I say my cousin is booked, he's booked. So he's on his way to a call time. But tell me, getting into college and finding yourself as a Black man in classical music, what was that experience like? And what can young people who may be interested in doing classical music, what road or steps can they take to get there and make it a career? Because this is now your career.
So just going from high school, I had my music teacher for Hairspray. I did that show 11th grade. She was like, hey, if you're looking into, colleges or for music, you should probably start taking lessons, because you need to, learn the repertoire, or at least have like two songs, two art songs ready and for auditions. And so I was like, okay. So even though it was a struggle, like my mom really, really helped me my senior year of college with just paying for lessons weekly. But I was going to those lessons. I was, learning the techniques and stuff. And even still then, I was not particularly interested in classical music per se. I just knew that because I'm still figuring myself out, as a person and as a musician. And so, but I knew that I wanted to do music. I knew I wanted to graduate. I knew I wanted to get out of my hometown.
Okay,
and
absolutely.
So my love for classical music finally came, not even my first semester of college. I was still wrapping my ears around the sound of it. It was my second quarter. And I took a survey of music class with Professor Rosendahl. For outside of class, you get used to the sounds in the classes and stuff, but I decided to dive in myself. And I happened to find a video of a wonderful American diva named Leontine Price. And she sang this aria named Bache Bache Mio Dio. And was the first time that I actually, it made me sit up and say, oh wow, but just to see how the beauty of what it takes, So that was one of the videos. And then Jesse Norman performing Mon Cœur Souvent Toi Bois. And that was the and next one. And I just started from there. I just went into a deep dive, So, but it took me hearing and seeing two Black women to say, wow, this is at the highest level of their art, by the way. But seeing that was the potential. And then even still, I was still wrestling with the fact of doing classical music, but that I gained my appreciation from that. My choice to start to do classical music was junior year. We had postings for Seattle Opera's production of Porgy and Bess, which is an all African American opera. Absolutely. Or all Black opera, I'll say. And so they told us, I went to a predominantly white institution. I was in for a year or so. But
you said you were the only Black person?
For the first year that I was there, but not a lot of diversity per se. Mm-hmm. So that production gave me a branch out to see African American professional opera singers for the first time. And it was still, to this day, probably one of my favorite on-stage experiences. Being in the field and just seeing these people just so free in their artistry, and to know oh my God, this is real, this can be done, and that I can make this happen. And so senior year, from that point on, I was like, okay, I'm putting in the work. And I was just like, what do I do next? And next people were like, you have a few options. You can either, I would say, you get your undergrad degree. You can study privately with a teacher that you trust, or you can. I went to grad school for the connection. So I made that
Mm,
choice that I wanted to go and learn more about my craft and
right.
build up my tech, keep building my technique with an experienced teacher to take that next step. And so I auditioned at 5 schools. I got into University of Houston, and I still study with Professor Melanie Sonnenberg, who has actually done a lot for my voice, thank God. But from there, there was so much to talk about from the past 6 years of my studies. But just as much as you are building your technique and your craft, you're learning more about yourself as a person,
Mm,
um, and how much you feel you can take in this business. Because unlike other instrumentalists and stuff like that, I will say instrument is in our body, we carry it with us, you take care of yourself, you take care of it, you do any harm or
mm.
distress to your body, you do harm or distress to your instrument.
Come on and
So
teach the
yeah,
people out here. I love that you are, talking about your gift, but you're also talking about developing your gift, because a lot
yeah,
of times we, as you said, you found out at a young age that you were talented, that you could sing, but you did not stop there, and your mother did not stop there,
no,
but you continued to get the training. And then even after graduating, college, you went on to graduate school to perfect your craft. And I think that's what we may forget a lot, or may not even know to do sometimes, to perfect that craft and that gift that is a God-given talent, So I'm excited to have you today. Like you said, if you take care of this body as a vocalist, you are taking care of your instrument. So
mhm,
to all the singers, performers out there, even musicians, because you're using every part of your body, whether it's your lungs, your breath, your air, your hands, whether you're a drummer or pianist, we need to take care of ourselves in order to get the best that we can get out of our gift. Namarea, can you, and I know you got to go, I don't want to push it too much further, but
yeah,
can you give us a sample of your gift? Whether you're singing
yeah.
something R&B, whether you're singing something classical. I wish we had more time. I'm just going to have to bring you back,
I
but
know. Well,
yes,
but we're gonna have to do a part two. Yeah, there's
we
so
have to
because
do
there's
a
like
part two.
yeah, there's so much more that I would love to touch on because there's too many aspects, to just music and my story and me in the beginning of my career because I'm just beginning, and I'm still learning,
Yes,
still growing, still developing. Which is
yes.
what I'm literally here at Opera Theater St. Louis, like as a young artist, developing and working on my craft and getting like actual like performance experience. So which
Right.
has been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful journey.
With us talking, it's been kind of hard for us to connect together because you have, literally had gig after gig after gig. And that's
Yeah.
what developing your craft does for you. I believe that it opens doors. So, I know they see you sitting in this place with all these white walls, but it's because it's your home away from home.
Yeah, yeah,
He is in his, apartment because he's booked right now on
yeah.
on his, gig. So, again, if you can take a few minutes, I know you got to get across to the
Gotcha.
opera house, but just give us a little something before you go.
Just doing a scale. Is it fine?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Um, my honey Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile when my heart Your looks are laughable, unphotographable. Yes, you're my favorite word of all. If your figure less than green, is your mouth a little bit weak? When you open it to speak, are you smart? Don't change your head, please. Not if you care for me. Say, little Valentine, say, each day is Valentine Day.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You did
oh
one
God.
of my favorite songs. My mom is always asking me to sing that song, and I'm like, girl, that shot can toe that song up. I don't
Literally,
know.
Shaka
Literally.
Khan.
Okay.
Love her.
You
Love her.
sound amazing,
Thank you.
amazing, amazing. I cannot wait to hear more from you. So you're coming back. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Cousin, come back, okay?
Absolutely.
Give us more. Give us more. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
today, and
you.
thank you all for watching. Again, that is Namarea Randolph-Yosea. And if you want to see and hear more of him, you can find him on Facebook. Are you on IG?
I am. My IG is Yosea. My last name Yosea runneth over. There's a whole story behind that, but
And I can't wait to hear the story.
Yeah.
We're gonna hear it next time, okay?
Alrighty. Thank
you so much.
cousin. It was so
You're
good to speak to
welcome.
you.
Yes, thank you. I love you so much. I will be reaching out to you very soon, okay?
Absolutely. And I'll be,
As they
I'll
say,
come
break
back.
a leg.
I will. I gotta run.
Okay, love you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for watching this episode of Talented Television featuring Namarea Randolph-Yosea. Now, if you haven't joined Talented Television as of yet as a subscriber, what are you waiting for? I would love to have you as part of the Talented Television family. So just go ahead and press that button. I know it's a commitment, but you know, we in this thing together. So until next time, I hope you take great care of yourself. Sending love to you and yours. See you at the next episode. Bye. For those of you who stuck around, let me tell you a little secret. This system has been giving me the blues, honey. Technical difficulties everywhere. But I was determined to bring you a great show. So I hope that you enjoyed it and that you'll tune in again soon. In the meantime, I'm going to be trying to get things together because I don't roll like this. Okay? Take care, y'all. See you soon. Bye. Bye. Bye.